The precise moment of the first anniversary of the accident was observed with candles and silence just before dawn on Friday across the river from 3 Mile Island. The demonstrators were calm, impassive, orderly. A far cry from the mood of local residents attending a meeting in Middletown, Pennsylvania the previous week. They shouted down government and utility company officials who were trying to talk about venting radioactive krypton gas still trapped in a containment building.
Let's take a vote. Now careful. All for releasing the krypton applaud. Those against releasing the krypton.
My question...
All I'm asking for is a little courtesy.
More and more, these people are showing the stress of living for a year near the disabled, contaminated reactor.
Where do you suggest I take my family during the time? How far do I have to go in order to be a safe distance away? And by the way, you know, which way will the wind be blowing? Can anybody answer that?
And I have one plea to ask you, and that is to wait till school's out. Let's not interrupt your education anymore!
Mental health studies are showing a marked increase in anxiety among people who live in the vicinity of 3 Mile Island. Not everyone is affected, but the proximity to real or imagined danger is taking its toll. Social scientist Raymond Goldstein has surveyed 2,000 TMI area residents. He has found a sense of loss among them.
The people are basically trusting people. They're people who by nature are conservative, tend to vote Republican, tend to believe in the government and what the government says for them. They're basically that kind of people you would find in a small town rural area. So I would say, generally speaking, they're family-oriented people.
Newberry Township is typical of the communities within sight of the cooling towers of 3 Mile Island. Dave and Linda Dominowski, with their children Chris, 9, and Amy, 19 months, live in Newberry Township. The accident and the way officials in charge reacted to it have changed the Dominowskis' lives.
I feel a sense of loss in a lot of ways. It's disrupted my life for a whole year. I have lost trust in the federal government and in our state government, for that matter, and in the utility company. And I think when you do lose trust in someone, you do have a sense of loss. I think in general the people, and myself included, are not a non-trusting population. We're not non-trusting people. We want to trust and we want to believe that everything's going to be okay, but something tells us that it's not. It's just a gut feeling.
At 9, Chris Dominowski is old enough to be aware of what happened at 3 Mile Island.
At one point back when the accident happened, he said to me, "Mommy, you know, am I going to die? You know, am I going to get cancer and die?" And that's very hard to answer a child, you know, and you just have to explain to him that, you know, some people do and some people don't, and we just have to trust in God that, you know, He'll take care of us.
Is your greatest fear for your children rather than for yourselves, you and Dave?
Yes, yes. I guess I am concerned about my health, but as far as that goes, my children mean everything to me. I love them very, very much. And when you look at your children every day and you wonder if they're going to be okay, you know, it's really hard to live with knowing not, you know, if they're going to, in 5, 10, 20 years, come down with leukemia or cancer. It's very difficult.
The anxiety, the uncertainty span the generations. Terry Lauer is a senior at Middletown High School.
Yes, I did. The nights when everything was occurring here for like a week period or so, I had this constant delusion that the whole place was going to go up, you know, and I'd go home and there wouldn't be anything there, and, you know, there wouldn't be anything to come back to. Middletown would be gone, you know, and all the surrounding area. I shy away, you know, from the plant itself because, I don't know, it's always in the back of my mind that something could happen, you know, because it's not safe yet. You know, it's not all right yet.
Whitey Reeser has run Reeser's Grocery in Goldsboro, Pennsylvania for more than 30 years. Goldsboro is the closest community to 3 Mile Island.
You're in suspense all the time. At night you sleep light. You know, you never know if the siren starts blowing, and we don't know whether it's a fire or whether it's a reactor or whatever. So it sort of keeps you on edge. So after being here 32 years, you know, you think, what the dick, and why try? You know, I could have everything wiped out here in a few minutes. Everything I have is here. And what can you put in an automobile, the trunk of a car, you know, if you go to leave? Yeah, I have a travel trailer. And our suitcases are upstairs, and all we have to do is throw a few clothes in them. Yeah, we have a trailer ready to go.
In the years since the accident, the federal government, which has the job of regulating nuclear installations, has been facing an escalating problem. Many people here, remembering the difficulty of getting accurate information just after the accident, simply don't believe what government spokesmen have to say. John Collins has represented the Nuclear Regulatory Commission here for the last year.
There were spokesmen here at the site for NRC, there were spokesmen in Washington, there was a difference of information coming from both sources. So the people reached a point they didn't know who to believe. You're always going to have a hard core of people who will never trust whatever MedEd says or the NRC, and I'm not sure that they would trust anybody. And for this reason, because I think they've already made up their mind to what they want to hear, and because you don't give them that answer, then you are not telling them the truth. And that's very disturbing, because we have no reason to lie.
But the Nuclear Regulatory Commission is not getting its message across to many people here. The distrust runs deep. It crosses the boundaries of age, background, and occupation, and so does the sense of loss. Mike and Kay Gluck are both physicians. Tony Topolsky is a truck driver. John McHenry works for a social welfare organization. Marcia is his wife.
I've lost a sense of security since then, too. In my own home, I don't really feel comfortable in it. I don't feel that I can relax and enjoy myself anymore. Always in the back of my mind, I have this feeling, well, am I going to have to pick up and go, or is there radiation outside?
I see an awful lot of psychological stress. A lot of patients come to me and say, "Doctor, just check me out. I just haven't been myself since the accident. Is it physical, or am I just under severe emotional stress? I'm having problems dealing with my family, dealing with my husband." I see a lot of problems in marriage relationships where the husband said there's nothing to worry about, and the wife would say, well, there is something to worry about, and that's created an awful lot of stress on certain families. Day-to-day living around here has been really markedly altered.
It seems like something inside of us has been stolen. Here at home, I can't find any peace. If I had to count the nights when we couldn't sleep, migraine headaches, chest and neck pains, you name it. We never had them before, never.
I would say we've lost a freedom of choice in some ways to do what we want to do. John and I were looking to, last year, to begin our family. Finally, we had come to that time. I was 32, and I was ready to begin our family, as was John. The accident helped us to make some major decisions in that way. Okay, what matters? What do we care about? Well, for one thing, we care about starting our family. But as the course of the accident continued, we realized we'd be very foolish to have a child in this area, and we can't move out. We're essentially prisoners here right now.
Public officials realize they have a credibility and confidence dilemma focused now on the krypton gas trapped at TMI. Pennsylvania Governor Dick Thornburg and Harold Denton of the NRC talked about it this week in Harrisburg. But in the face of massive loss of faith in government, plans to deal with it seem vague and unformed.
I recognize that that's a problem. I think it's got to be built through the community and leaders. I do plan to spend more time in the area and hope to meet with a number of groups I think the medical profession will be very important in understanding and explaining the health effects from such releases, and the local officials also.
Michelle Seward typifies the TMI area resident who has lost faith in authority.
Say that your public relations campaign will never improve, because we will never forget nor forgive what you've put us through or what you'll continue to put us through. Met Ed and maybe even the NRC will never be a respected name, because as of now, you have shown not to be any more worthy than a hunk of cow manure. And with that, gentlemen, I hope you all sleep well and sleep with a good conscience the rest of your lives.
Michelle is a nurse. She has a 2.5-year-old son, Jason. She is 5 months pregnant. Michelle and Craig Seward never thought about the nuclear power plant on 3 Mile Island until the accident.
I love my home, but I don't feel secure like I did before. And to me, in your home, you should feel secure and you should feel safe. And I can't feel that way because we are so close, and anything could happen over there any minute.
I feel as though we have an uninvited guest in our home each day. Just the feeling I have every day I walk through the house. It's though I am not the only one here. TMI is just over the hill, and they're not welcomed, in my home at least.
It was to a point where I was destroying my life. There was a lot of tensions between my husband and I, and between my relationships with my son. And I just thought that I had to turn myself around and kind of look at it positively and change my outlook. I'm still scared, but I feel that if I attend meetings and I do voice my opinion, I can rest assured that I did what I thought was safe for my child and what I thought was best. But it was to a point where it was consuming my whole life. Well, now I am pregnant, 5 months pregnant. And I just got to a point where I thought, I will let them control everything to tell me when I have to have a child, you know. And I thought, I'm just not going to do that. There's a risk involved, I know, but I'm just going to have to take the chance. I want more children, and I'd like them close in age to Jason. And I thought, you know, life is full of risks, and this is just one of them. And I just feel that I have a lot of faith in God that, you know, He's going to take care of me and take care of this family.